Hey everybody, welcome to the Blue Collar Beer Gentleman. I'm Topher. I started this channel because I'm a fan of craft beer, but I'm also on a limited budget. And I wanted to demonstrate it was possible to enjoy good quality beers without having to break the bank, so I'm always looking for the best deal on beers, and I think I found a pretty good one today, especially knowing that 100% of the proceeds are going to be going to the Portland chapter of NAACP. Today's selection is the Black is Beautiful Black Lager from Rogue Ales. As you may recall, I've had two other beers that were part of this series, and each of these brewers giving their money, or at least a portion of the money that they make from these beers, to some cause for social justice, usually centered around people of color. As I said, this Rogue has decided to contribute 100% of their earnings to the Portland chapter of NAACP. The first of the Black is Beautiful beers that I ever tried out was the Tenaya Creek Imperial Stout, which I gave a 4.25 on the 29th of July last year. And the second was the Boneyard Imperial Stout, which I gave a 4.75 on February 5th of this year, 2021. This is the first one, though, that has been a black lager, and I'm really looking forward to trying this out. I enjoy lagers that have that slight little variance in it, whether it's rye or red or black or what have you, because lager is such a great variety to kind of mess with because it's so standard in its presentation and its qualities. This beer has a 5% ABV. Typically an American lager comes in between 4.2 and 5.3, so this is actually considered a little on the high end for a lager, but at 5% that's a very low alcohol amount. Got 39 IBUs. Typically an American lager comes in between 8 and 18, so this actually puts it at a very high bitterness scale, but I'm thinking that the black is probably black malt and perhaps even some rye, in which case that would probably be adding to the bitterness. I myself have had 23 beers from Rogue Brewing, and with an average score of 3.67. This specific beer, none of my friends on Untappd have checked in on it. Has no rankings on Beer Advocate. I'm sorry, it does have one ranking on Beer Advocate. Beer Advocate gave that one ranking, gave it a 3.47. 176 check-ins total on Untappd have given it a 3.73. As you can see, these are sort of lukewarm grades, like basically C and C+ kind of grades. But I rarely let that affect how I feel about a beer. I did pick up this pint can from my friends at Hilton, which is located at 21415 Southeast Stark in Gresham, Oregon, for the amount of $2.50. So anytime you can get a pint of Rogue beer for $2.50 and the money's going to a good cause, that's a hell of a deal. Rogue is an independent craft brewer. I will show you the mark here, the bottle that's upside down with the word independent, nice and bold. Nancy will probably get that graphic up so you can see that. This beer at the time of the recording is about 7 months old. For a lager, that's perfectly acceptable. Let's see, I don't know that I've got anything else to tell you more about this beer. This is all of it. As I said, this is Rogue Brewing. Rogue Brewing is one of those breweries that I consider successful, not corporate. Rogue has not tried to buy out other breweries. They've not tried to impose their will upon distributors. And I feel great about buying Rogue. As I said, they are an indie brewer, and Rogue is about 150 miles from the greater Portland area, located down in Newport, Oregon. So, practically drinking local here. Alright, I'm going to refer to the carbonation in this as medium high. Got lots and lots of teeny tiny little bubbles pouring towards the top. This came out a very dark brown color, almost like a dark porter, I would say. Getting some actual lacing on this. I'm kind of surprised by that with the 5% ABV. That's not very high, but maybe there's enough sugars and whatever it is that in the black malt or whatever they use specifically to make this lager black. Lagers traditionally, as I said, are kind of basic beers. For example, Budweiser is the #1 selling lager across the world. So that's what a lager is. It's usually a very basic kind of beer. Let me give this a quick beard wipe, see if I encounter anything. Smell a lot of maltiness. I'm going to stick my schnoz in directly, see if I can pick up any hop profile in here. Chocolatey malt. Thinking that there's got to be some two-row malt and definitely some chocolate malt in this for sure. Very chocolatey, getting a little bit of a biscuity flavor, or not flavor, but a biscuity aroma in the bouquet, which is more indicative usually of a pale ale or an amber. But maybe they may have used some red malt for this in order to get that nice black color too. I don't see any reason to keep yapping my flag. I'm going to drink some beer and check this out. Cheers. I'm going to describe it as a medium-low mouthfeel, which is pretty much what you would expect from a lager. There's not a lot of spikiness to this. The hop profile is not particularly strong. I was expecting a little bit more bitterness with this, with 38 IBUs, but honestly, I got to say that the malt is doing a really good job of mellowing out any bitterness that you would be getting from the hops. The chocolate and roastiness, almost toffee. Actually, I would say it's closer to toffee, really, than chocolate. That I was getting on the bouquet, I'm also getting in the on the tongue. So this is almost like a Heath bar in beer form. Nice roastiness. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that this has gotten such lukewarm reviews from the reviewing community. Maybe everybody was, you know, had their hearts set on getting these imperial stouts with these high ABVs, and so they were just a little disappointed to see that Rug's offering was a black lager. But I'm glad for that, because I think, don't get me wrong, Tenaya Creek is one of my favorite breweries of all time, and they went the imperial stout route, and Boneyard is another great brewery that I've just encountered, but also making great beers. But I think imperial stout was kind of expected when it comes to making this beer, and I think that those who went other routes with, like, say, deep rich porters, or in this particular instance a black lager, really tried a little bit harder, and hats off to them for that. Well, okay, so $2.50 for a pint can of beer, and beer that I'm actually liking a whole lot, even more than seems as though the reviewing community did. What to give this beer? I am going to go ahead and give the beer a 4.25. It's going to get that extra 0.25 for arriving in a can. Going to get a cumulative score of 4.5 out of the 5-point scale on Untapped from me, because I think this is a good beer, and I think it gets that extra 0.25 for arriving in a can. And I'm glad, you know, that the money went to the Portland chapter of NAACP, and for $2.50 you can't hardly go wrong. Well, guys, if you like this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to share it with your friends. And don't forget to check out my other channel, Fat 50 and Running a Marathon. Until next time, drink good beer and don't break the bank doing it. Cheers!